Yeah, man. Couple things that I'm dealing with. Right. A whole lot of entertaining things to say. There's a smell in here that drives me insane. I smell. Um. uh, So, there's so much going on. For one thing, there's a smell in here. But it smells kind of like sour or like bad water or something. And I was trying to see if it was my upper lip or my sack or my crack or whatever, my feet. That was part of the issue. Like, I, some people that I actually know locally in town said that I kind of smelled like chemicals, and I actually appreciated the feedback because I never get feedback on anything, but there indeed was like a foul kind of a chemical smell on me, despite whether I showered or not. And I don't really totally know what it was. Like it was happening on me whether I showered or not. And it still comes and goes, but I don't have that one figured out. Like almost the fact that they gave me the feedback made it was part of the reason why it went away. It still haunts me to this day. I think it has something to do with not wearing socks or wearing crusty socks or a pair of old shoes that I have. Um, that's one thing. Smell on me. Another thing is there's like a smell inside this apartment that I haven't figured out. Um, like it could be in the heater as a nastiness, could be mildew, could be mold. It's driving me literally insane. So, uh, some things I did to try to combat it was that I threw most of my dishes away. And I thought that was part of the problem, and I got some advice that maybe as a man, I don't need to be cooking as much. But that's the thing that's driving me crazy. I tried to clean the mats, tried this and that. I haven't been able to locate the smell. And it's driving me crazy. I don't I don't have the best sense of smell. Uh, Another thing I did was I started cutting out animal products. Um, Not for ethical reasons. It's I don't know why. I don't. I guess I bought some meat a few days ago or yesterday, but I have just in the past when I was about 25 years old, um, I found that I had lost significant weight by cutting out animal products, and then just like nothing's working for me. Nothing has worked. Nothing else has worked for me. So interestingly, like I'll show you my weight loss kind of thing. Oh, I have tried to go to the gym. I've tried to do like some boxing, some MMA, some calisthenics and stuff like that on creatine, whey, and lots of meat. And I don't like the way I feel when I do that. I don't like to spend a lot of money on food. It's hard. So I mostly eat like rice. And that makes me feel a lot better. A lot better. Right. Another thing that I'm dealing with is that it's super difficult to find work. It's super difficult. And I don't know. And I think that there are power structures involved in like people who are working. Almost impossible to tear down. Like for instance, I don't think that like it's like men and women. I think it's a bunch of old fucking lesbian women who are maintaining power structures, and I don't like it. And then if I begin to get ahead through yoga and solipsism and things like that, I kind of wonder sometimes, like, you know what I'm saying? Why is stuff not working out for me in terms of relationships with a woman, or finding a woman and providing and protecting. You know what I'm saying? Having a family. This is really the first time in my life that I've ever thought about such things. I'm serious. Like, I'm 42. I had a girlfriend when I was in high school. Now don't be mad. Don't judge on that, because it turned out to actually be a nightmare where I was nearly beaten to death, and God knows what almost happened to her. And it was impossible. Like I said, it was impossible to find a job. It was impossible to keep. So I lived with my parents. She lived with her parents, and there would be people just going into their house and doing almost whatever to her. I couldn't get them to back off. That kind of thing. I think what's happening to any man or guy or male, whatever these days, is almost like a subconscious halt. Brakes on it. You know there's danger. there probably is nothing you can do about it. So there's almost a sense of giving up subconsciously. I was the kind of person who just said, "Well, I'll just go out and get it," and I ended up failing big time with my relationship in high school at 16. As much as I like spending time with her, as much as I like get off with her and lay down and cuddle and stuff like that, do other things. We almost had like as far as the bedroom and stuff like that was nearly pornographic. Not in terms of videos and stuff, but because we probably were meant to get married and have kids, stuff like that. And you know what? It hurts me to this day that I ended up, on some drugs and alcohol that somebody gave her drugs and alcohol and various things that I actually did not know what to do in the situation. Somebody could have died. And I remember somebody was out at her house and I got a phone call, and it was going to be more than a fight. I was going to go down there and do the thing. Well, my parents stopped me from doing it, but guess what? My parents then sent me to a psychiatrist for about 20 years. And the psychiatric medicine causes testosterone and oxytocin and serotonin to be blocked. Did you know that? I mean, it's like no girlfriend, no wife, no health, no wealth, no prosperity, for whatever reason. Whether that's just part of the narcissistic control mechanism over a child's life is to basically end their life. So it's things like that crossed my mind around the age of 20. That if you were to get married, your mother could haul your wife off to a mental health hospital. It can happen. So on and so forth. Somebody could come through that door right now. They could say, you know what? I think this guy is doing yoga. And he's doing yoga and praying to Jesus. And he's eating rice. So I think I'm going to break down the door and see if I can get him to go to the psychiatrist. Stuff like that. It's not cute and it's not funny. Another thing was that I'm not gonna go there. Stuff like that's has hit me around the age of 40. around the age of 40. I remember one time, like going to the psychiatrist, as awful as it was, medicine, things like that. At around the age of 20, I was interested in Kabbalah. Like some why I don't know. Age of 20, I'm interested in Kabbalah. And my psychiatrist said it's something that makes itself known to you around the age of 40. Guess what? When I hit 40, it did. Well, what is that like? What is that like? It's almost like those signs and symbols and certain things are necessary to develop in your 40s. Like you almost have to. For me, I need help from the ancients. I need help from ancestral blood memories. I need help from seeing ancient statuary to help me realize what does a man or woman actually look like? How are they supposed to appear on the outside? Things like that, because I read religious literature that there's an inward, there is a soul which tells you the difference between right and wrong. Some people give theirs up to destroy shit. There is a spirit which gives you hope. There are ways to imagine that you have things outside of yourself that you can call upon to help give you posture and strength when you don't have any. And I guess that's important. Another thing is that what do you do when you really feel that there might not be anyone in this world for you, like a soulmate or a bed partner? There's just not anyone here who wants your devotion, undivided attention, love, because you cannot provide and provide for them and protect them. What do you do? Things like that. I wish I could. And it seems like it would be more correct than what I am doing now. Instead of, just kind of sitting around bumming cigarettes and thinking about God. That's part of it. I know there was one guy who says, he smokes cigarettes. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. I kind of smoke cigarettes. Yeah, it kind of does. Kind of does. Maybe that's why nobody watches my YouTube videos. But the good news is that was thinking about getting help from other human beings and like some exercise, yoga, things like that. DDP. But I do feel that there's been some strange things happen in my life. The fact that my hands used to be locked up. They used to be locked up. I'm not saying in bondage, but they were just locked up. But I remember going to like a psychiatrist's office one day. This nurse had even worse lockup in the hands. So I looked down at him, and instead of praying over her hands, I said, if she don't want those things, I want some extra hands. And that's why I can do this. Is that weird? I've never heard of that before. And also, about 2 years ago, someone tried to break into the apartment. What I was doing was trying to figure out if I had a purpose. So I was laying on the floor reading about Egyptian mythology. Sometimes related to whatever. And as soon as I got up off the floor and stepped outside to smoke a cigarette, the neighbor come down, bolted out of the door, and confronted me about what I was reading in my apartment. And I don't really care if there's anything involved in that spiritually. That kind of stuff scared me because I don't know how he knew what I was reading on the floor. He not only knew that I was reading, but what I was reading. So luckily in that situation, he was saying, well, I can say whatever I want with a cigarette in my hand and tell you that you are going to hell for reading about Egyptian mythology. So I said, you know what? Whoosh. I've got like a rod and a staff now. I've got a rod, I've got a staff. Because of the fact that you just did this. You're out of control. For some reason, you want me to both discipline you as well as correct your behaviors instead of having those things yourself. Like the guy made himself known to me as a threat. Like he, at that moment, wanted to be under my rod and staff rulership in front of my home. And that's got me paranoid about what he's going to do next. I'm not his father. I'm not a father figure. The woman I marry is not his mother or his wife or his girlfriend. And I have almost foreseen that whoever I end up marrying, whoever it is, I may have to take care of someone's illegitimate children. I may have to step out of the door for 5 minutes to take care of an errand, get some groceries, or whatever. And I may have to take care of someone's illegitimate children. Guess what? I'm probably not going to do that. And I know that it is going to happen. There's no abortion in this state. Yeah, I truly feel that no matter what I do in life, like I would kind of put it this way: I want to succeed. I want to be like kind of the best, or at the same time like understanding how my team can function together instead of me being so competitive. Stuff like that. I want to work together. I want like my people, whether I'm at the bottom or the top, I want my people to feel well, but not at my expense. If that makes sense. And that's another thing I'm dealing with, this concept of weakness that was introduced to me around the age of 30, that is kind of like connected to real world, that there are people in this world who if you help them out, they take something else, or if you help them out, they see it as a sign of weakness, and they come back and they get something from you. Which is kind of the opposite of Christianity. I know Jesus said, forgive people 70 times 7 for any and all trespasses. Well, trespasses them coming through the door and having an illegitimate child with your wife. Stuff like that. As much as I dig the like healing provided by Jesus and maybe sometimes other messianic figures like Krishna or Shiva, things like that. It doesn't, which is good for self-development. You've got to be healed. There have been like messianic Christ-like figures who provide healing, and then there are things which sometimes it gives you an idea of maybe what God looks like to a human being, so that you have something to look up to. And you need the Holy Spirit, stuff like that. I guess. I don't know. We don't really say much about your rights as a man. It almost doesn't, like looking at that, building yourself up in sense of purpose and healing, up, doesn't say anything about the animal nature of mankind. it doesn't say anything about spread, about being territorial and almost like animal. You're almost like social animal as well as a divinely created being. So you see that in yoga, you get built up. But you got to also know that the other things, men, women, animals, are real, and this is real, and it's almost like, despite the fact I think I am made in the image of God, I have purpose. I have the ability to provide and protect for a family. I'm also an animal. And I like that. It's not a mentality. It's an understanding that I'm part ape, part dinosaur, part bird. Kind of like a bear or something, but different. And it's not a mentality, it's just an understanding that I have claws and teeth and the ability to create tools and this, I don't know, stuff like that. As a man, what do you do when you gotta sink your teeth into somebody who's coming after your woman? That's what I'm thinking about.